Hi, I'm Martin Jarvis, and once again I want to welcome you to Listen. A lot of crazy stuff going on in our nation today. Number one, the presidency. Gonna be this crazy guy looking at all these indictments, or is it gonna be the old guy? Doesn't know what's going on. That's what everybody's saying. You know, the one side is really on against the other guy who's got 91 indictments, got 4 cases he's in the middle of right now, and all that, and foments a lot of negativity, harsh words, and hate. And you get the guy they're calling Sleepy Joe. He doesn't really know what's going on, tripping and falling and saying things, you know. So each side is ragging on the other. What I want to suggest today, as black people, ain't got nothing to do with you. What are you worried about? This hasn't got anything to do with us. It hasn't been for a minute now. Obama had something to do with us, but not these guys. It wasn't Hillary and Trump. It wasn't Biden and Trump. It's not about us right now. And so, I mean, we give them too much credit. We also give them too much support. Don't rubber stamp somebody who really hasn't proven to have done a thing for you. But you know, they're all going to try to use you for the vote. Everybody, that's what they've been doing. But as black people in this nation, we're still not 100% well. And so don't let them believe you're going to rubber stamp them right into office, you know. See, you know, Joe's got Kamala Harris up there as his vice president. Now I saw today something floating that Ben Carson might be his running mate to be vice president and all, and just trying to court that black vote. Both sides, powerful white men just wanting to be president, needing your vote. Come on now, we're not well, never have been, and we need to recognize that. And we really don't have anything to fear. I got a brother that's always, not a brother, but a buddy of mine, brother. I'm off work today. He just texted me today, man. You see what they're doing, you know? We got to be woke. We got to have our eyes open. We got to quit. I said, man, I'm not worried about stuff like that. Don't worry. That stuff has got nothing to, we don't have to worry about anything. Now, I do have quite a few guns. I do believe you should be armed, just in case. Because I've been armed for like, I don't know, half a decade or more. I mean, AR, shotgun, I mean, look, as a black person in America, all the stuff we've been through, why are we trying to limit access to guns? Because the people we need to be concerned with already have guns. I'd be kidding. I'm just not one of those guys, okay? And, you know, I've never shot anything outside of the range, you know. In the military, I used to shoot a lot, and I was pretty good. But I'm just saying, it doesn't hurt to be ready just in case, and if the time never comes, it never comes, and that's good too, okay? But anyway, there's nothing for us to worry about. It's not about us, it's about them. All these conspiracy theories, come on now. We get too, I mean, there was this guy, I had this guy, he was telling me about, you know, we are the gatekeepers. You know, he's like half my age. He didn't have a job until recently. He doesn't have anything going on for him. And he said, we are the gatekeepers. Well, if we are gatekeepers, you're sure not one of them. So I'm just suggesting that we can buy into anything. Don't do that. Just get yourself together. That's it. It's really easy. It's easy remedy in here. People talking about, I saw today on the internet, that I think Beyonce was giving some advice about being excellent and don't giving up. And it was totally positive. Nothing about anything. It was encouragement to do well. Well, I'm not going to listen to her because of the Illuminati or Satan worship and all this kind of stuff. Really? Come on, man. We buy into these conspiracy theories, things that have really no effect on us. Come on now. I mean, first of all, number one, we don't know if they're true. They're not substantiated. They're just something people have been saying. And if it is true, it's above your pay grade. And what I mean by that is it's not going to affect you personally. Whatever Illuminati, Rothschilds, and all this stuff is going on, within each of us, within our bubble of existence, from the time we're born to the time we die, we can be multi-millionaires. We can own this, we can own that, we can invest here, we can invest there, we can be educated, we can be healthy, we can exercise, we can eat right, we can live a long time and be financially well in our world, not worrying about stuff way out here that number one may not even be true. And if it is true, it ain't got nothing to do with us in our realm of existence, okay? All we have to do as black people is remember black excellence, black pride, and black power. I don't know if you noticed, I've been growing my stuff lately. You know, I used to keep it tight on the side, a little on the top, and clean face and all. But I started on November 11th, 2023. I turned 65. And I'm in pretty good health. I have an MBA. I'm studying the Arabic language, studying the Spanish language. And I have 30 years on the job. And I'm planning on doing something the next phase, okay? Because I'm healthy, man. I got quite a couple decades to go. And I just don't know what it is yet. So I decided April 15th I'm going to shave and cut my hair, but by then I'll have the plan, I'll have an answer, I'll know the direction that I'm going to go. But you know, as I've been growing this, I've been remembering with the afro, when the afro was a social statement and not a fashion statement. I came up as a young man, as a military man, as a man in the 70s. Okay, I understood black pride. I recognized the solidarity of black people in that day and the power that we had and the fear that we instilled in the hearts of other folks, okay, which we lost. And so now even today we're walking around, you know, we see these guys walking with a little blue American flag or little red hats on and MAGA hats on and everything. We're just like not saying anything, looking at them. No, man, it's reminding me, and this is reminding me of who we were. If you notice my little pic here, my little fist on there, some of y'all used to have one of these, remember? So I'm getting back to that guy that I was, because I was that guy. I was that radical guy. I was that guy. But as we grow older and we become, you know, responsible, we become parents, we become husbands and wives and all, we kind of just remember that in a nostalgic way of who we used to be. But these guys are being that now, okay? So I'm just suggesting we'd be less worried if we were walking around in black excellence. If we're walking in black pride, if we're walking around in black power, okay? So I am trying to revive that in you. I'm reviving it in me. You want to come with me, come with me. If you don't, you don't. But I am work, man. Same situation. And I'm looking at the brothers there, because of course the in thing where hair's not really growing, we're going to keep our bald heads, right? So, but we're all sitting here, and most of where I work with, a lot of us are veterans, you know, Marines, Army, Navy, Air Force, and everything. But we just grown kind of silent, and let them do their thing. Let them wear their blue patches. Let them wear their MAGA hats, and we just sit back and not really say anything and just chill. Now what I'm thinking is, you know, I am the oldest one where I work, okay? Some guys are a couple years behind me, but they didn't come up in the 70s, okay? They were kids in the 70s. Something happened in the 80s. Black people began to lose that black power. Black people began to lose that black pride. White people were wearing their fros. You know, they were getting their hair permed, wearing their fros, taking the African off of the afro and calling it a fro. The black folks' afros were moving from the natural social statement to a fashion statement. It was all beginning to change. So that power that we had, the black power and the black pride that we had because we were black, began to dissipate, began to lose it. So those folks that I've seen that graduated from school in the 80s, you know, in the 90s and everything, they didn't have what we had. You can use the N word if you wanted to, because we were going to use our own words, and it just wasn't the honky. It just wasn't the H word. Oh man, I had phrases that would irritate, you know, white people more than the N word would irritate us. I mean, we would go there. You want to say something to me? Your eyes are going to be swollen shut the next day. I mean, this is just the way it rolled back then. That somehow, somewhere between then and now, it got so weak. Oh, he used the N word. And did you see what they said on a hot mic? Man, white folks were saying whatever they wanted to say about black people. Black people were saying whatever they wanted to say about white people. It was more free then. It was more open and more honest then. All this stuff now, because we had an opportunity to say whatever we wanted to say. So the moment we got them to stop saying certain words, then we were held under that same scrutiny and couldn't be the same people we were. Man, I was watching Blazing Saddles I only watched about a half hour of it the other day. I couldn't watch the whole thing. But I mean, they were using the N-word all throughout that thing. But then I remember, and this, but black people were the same way. And a lot of people, I think the word honky, that was really, did make some white people mad back in the 70s. I remember in the 70s when I was probably about 16 or 15 or so years old, I went to the theater and I saw this movie. It's called The Black Six. And it had like football players, Willie Lanier, Mean Joe Green, Mercury Morris, Gene Washington, and a couple other professional football players. And they were like guys that had gone off and made it big in the real world. And in their hometown, they came from the same little southern hometown. Somebody, white folks in that hometown, had beaten and killed somebody that was related to them or really cool with them and all. It's been a long time since those other things. And they all went back to that southern town, came up on their motorcycles, Harleys, big old motorcycles, and they turned that town out, destroyed those people. And at the end of the movie, now this is what's unbelievable, because I'm telling you, Blazing Saddles, they were using the N-word, they weren't saying N-word, they were just saying, but at the end of this movie, and this is a regular movie out in the public, at the theater, it said, "Honky beware. Hassle a brother and you will lose your life." Now, could anybody get away with putting that on a movie today? I don't think so. We're in a different time. But to me, we're not in as free a time as we were as black people, as powerful as we were then. But we are in a very good time for us to prosper and to be well. The problem is that we've had these afflictions for so long. And these are not the afflictions by white people. These are not the institutions of racism. These are not the issues and the prejudices and all these things. Being followed around a store, being denied a good seat in a restaurant, or being denied a housing in a particular area. Not those type things. What I'm talking about, the afflictions are the self-inflictions. The addictions that we have, the things that we do, the self-destructive tendencies that we have, that we are determined not to stop doing, okay? We have the ability in this country to be supermen and superwomen. We have the ability in this country to be running this country. We've seen that when black people put their minds to do something, we see it in music way back when. We saw it in sports as we were coming up. We saw it in the military with Jackie Robinson, Benjamin Davis Jr. and Sr., Chappie James, and so many others. We see it in politics. We've seen it in business. We've even seen it in the presidency of the United States. When black people put their mind to do a thing, we can do it. We are supermen and superwomen. We are powerful. We are the original people. We're the first people on this planet. We have the ability, whatever we put our minds to do. The problem is, you know, whoever the culprit, we don't put our minds to do these things. And so we're sitting here addicted to drugs. We're addicted to alcohol. We're committing crimes. We have warrants out for our arrest. We don't hold jobs. We don't function in excellence. I'm not saying all of us, but you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. We are overweight. We are out of shape. We do not eat properly. We don't exercise. We are uneducated. And we're unarmed. And so, of course, everybody doesn't fit all that. But most of us fit at least one of those categories. Right? But I'm telling you, we can't be excellent and in the same state that we're in. To me, this is a perfect opportunity. While they're distracted fighting each other, man, in politics, they're fighting each other in the courthouses, they're fighting each other for the presidency, they're doing this and doing that. This has got nothing to do with black people. This is the time while they're occupied fighting each other. I mean, we do this in war. That's what superpowers do. They keep these little nations fighting each other, and we do our thing. So the eyes are not on us right now. Man, I saw that when Obama became president, man. I saw something special was in the air. I said, hey, I got to do something. I didn't know what to do. It took me a couple of minutes to figure it out. I said, I'm gonna go to school, go to college, because I had a high school diploma, and I'm going to learn a language that I know nothing about. And so I started school that January when Obama became president in November. President-elect, when he became actual, I started in January when he entered office, just to get an associate degree. A couple of years later, I earned my associate degree, then I earned my bachelor's degree, kept going, earned my MBA. 10 years. Simply because I recognized at this particular point there was something special in the air. And it wasn't about me. It was about Obama was president. They were hating Obama. They were throwing jabs at him, giving him a hard time, all that. Obama said once, even on the air, he said, black people, don't worry about me. I got people behind me. I got the Secret Service. I'm okay. This was the time we needed to get ourselves together when all the eyes are not on you. When Trump and Hillary were running against each other, I came on the air again and I said the same thing. While they're occupied with each other, this is the time you need to find something to do to get yourself together. And do it. When Trump and Biden were running against each other, this is another time. You know, in addition to going to school, I began studying the Arabic language, which I'm still studying today, as well as Spanish. So then when Trump was running against Biden, man, there was another time, man. Eyes are not on black people. Time to do what you got to do. Get yourself together. Man, and then even now is still that time. Look, one of the most frustrating things to me, when Obama, after Obama left, while Obama was president, and then after he left office, was black folks saying, he didn't ever do anything for me. Really? He didn't do anything for you because that's a welfare mentality. We've been trained to believe that in order for me to be well, somebody has to do something for me. Somebody has to give something to me. Can't you just be inspired and do it yourself? That's what happened to me. I was a high school graduate when Obama stepped into office. I had an MBA about the time he left. For real. Simply because I was inspired. We have to see this. And when I say inspired, I mean, I don't even want to make it sound so grandiose. To me, inspired was, I looked at this man, and then I looked at me. And I was like, you know, Scooby-Doo, whoa, I realized, how can this man, this black brother, who is younger than me, who was a Harvard graduate, a Harvard attorney, a Harvard professor, a senator from Chicago, now president of the United States, younger than me, and I had a high school diploma. So when I say inspired, that sounds all wonderful, but the reality is my inspiration was I looked at him and I looked at me and recognized I had dropped the ball. So by the time I started school that January, by the time I got out there, I have an MBA. And since then, I've always been, you know, pushed to study, you know, studying Arabic language, and still am, and studying the Spanish language from like last year. Even when I was 63, 3 days before my 63rd birthday, I became a certified scuba diver. What I'm saying is, now I press ourselves, we need to press ourselves. It doesn't matter whether there's an Illuminati, it doesn't matter where all these things are going on all around us. Within your circle, within your realm of existence, you can prosper. Prosper. Do your thing. So now is the time again. Now Trump and Biden are at each other's throats. They're trying to be president, throwing barbs at each other. Trump is going through all these legal issues. Joe is kind of slow and old and everything. Whatever's going on over there, it got nothing to do with us. Get yourself together. Make yourself prosper. You can. You can be well. Take this opportunity. But the problem is, you're going to have to do something. Nobody's going to give. See, it's easy to blame Obama because he never gave me anything. Because this mentality about giving me something means I don't have to do anything and I still want something. What I'm telling you is, your situation is kind of jacked. We all are kind of jacked. That's why we always have something to improve. So what I'm saying is, if you are serious about being well, if you're serious about black pride, if you're serious about black excellence, if you're serious about black power, you need to quit doing any kind of drugs at all. Quit drinking alcohol at all. Quit eating unhealthy. Exercise. Get more education wherever you are at the moment and get yourself armed. That's it. We'll work ourselves right out of any kind of oppression, and it won't be 10 to 15 years before we're running things here. Because they're not stopping that stuff, but we can. While they're not looking, we can become supermen and superwomen. But it's up to us. And so, you know, from a nation's perspective, when I look at this thing between Trump and Biden, you get what the nation deserves. So, and I mean, I believe that's the way it works out. You do, because we vote. You get what you deserve. So when Obama was president, we got what we deserved. Remember, he won the Nobel Peace Prize? A lot of black folks were mad about that. We won the Nobel Peace Prize. America won the Nobel. That's what the world saw. They weren't giving it to Obama, although you had to have a representative. They were giving it to America because we have seemed to them to have finally come of age, finally come beyond all that stuff. Little did we realize. No, we hadn't. Anyway, that's where we're at. We need to recognize that a nation gets whatever it deserves. But even notwithstanding that, we can still be well no matter what's going on in the nation. Man, I've been unemployed. I've been employed since 1976 when I joined the Air Force at 17 years old. I've been unemployed for 5 months in all those years. I was in the military under Reagan and under Ford. No, under Carter and under Reagan. And then after I got out, I was under Democrats and I was under Republicans. I was under Clinton. I was under Carter. I was under Bush. I was under Ford. I was under, you know, all those guys, right? I've always been well because they don't affect me. If you're poor on welfare, you're not affected either. So black folks, no matter who's in office, we're not affected. Matter of principle, we might get pissed off, but we're not affected. Now's the time to get yourself together and do something well. But again, a nation gets what they deserve. So a nation, we voted, and we got what we deserved, which is Obama. Good man. Inspiration, to me at least. After that, we had the choice between Hillary and Trump. Whichever one that was elected, that's what the nation deserved. Okay? And so if you think whatever the result was of that presidency was bad for the nation, oh well, that's what we deserve. If you think it was good for the nation, that's what we deserve. So they were looking again to the next one. It was between Biden and Trump. Biden won. The nation got what it deserved. A lot of folks were pissed January 6th. Okay? Still, what are you pissed for? If your guy didn't win, not enough of y'all voted for him. This one coming up, same thing. If Biden wins, our nation gets what it deserves. If Trump wins, our nation gets what it deserves. It's not really that complicated because we vote. But no matter who becomes president, you have the opportunity to be well. And that's what I'm encouraging you to be, is to be well. But again, there are sacrifices that you have to make. Man, if you need to stop drinking alcohol, because we're at war. Stop doing drugs, we're at war. Get yourself in shape because we're at war. Start exercising, we're at war. Get yourself educated, we're at war. Get yourself armed, we're at war. When you're at war, during wartime, in the middle of a pitched battle, when it's Friday night, drop your gun and go party? No, this is not happening. This is why we're the way we are. It's not about white folks. It's about us. We have to be the ones. We have to make the determination. You saw them people on January 6th charging the Capitol. If we could be that enthusiastic legally for the things that we want for ourselves, we'd whoop ourselves right out of this mess. If we were as enthusiastic about quitting doing drugs as those people were about charging that Capitol, we wouldn't be doing drugs. If we were as enthusiastic about stopping drinking alcohol as those people charging that Capitol, we wouldn't be drinking alcohol. If we were that encouraged about walking a legal line as those guys were about breaking the law, we'd be out of this mess. If we were as encouraged about being in shape, being physically fit, being educated, being armed, as much as those guys were about charging that Capitol, we would be well right now. We can do it, but it's a sacrifice you're going to have to make. And if you don't make that sacrifice, for black people, what we get is what we deserve. And it's as simple as that. It's not going to be given to you. It ain't going to be free. You know how you see that saying, freedom ain't free? You know, they're talking about the military and all that. Well, freedom, black people, freedom ain't free. It's like those before us sacrificed. Even from the earliest time when it was a death sentence to be caught teaching your child how to read, what black people were ensuring that their children learned how to read, and many of them were executed. And so we had situations all throughout. They didn't freedom. Black folks fought on the side, fought through the Civil War. Civil War, by the way, it was kind of about black people. But what it was about those people in the South were making a large profit because they were free labor, creating all that cotton, tobacco, whatever it is they were getting for their slave labor, and they weren't paying taxes on it. And that was the issue. They were not paying taxes on all that money they were making. That's what the Civil War was about. Think about it. Then the Civil War, and of course, these black folks into fighting on the side of the Union. It's like, okay, after we win, whatever plantation you were working on, you guys are going to own it. We're going to divvy up that land between those slaves that were working that land. Well, guess what? After the war was over, they gave the land right back to the slave owners. See, it wasn't really about us. It was about that money. The slavery was about the money because it was free labor and it was making those folks in the South rich. And for the North, it was about those slave labor as well because they weren't getting the tax money because they weren't taxing the benefits of having slave labor. But anyway, we're here now, and I'm giving you some wisdom. I'm giving you some enlightenment. And I'm saying we can do anything. That money's out there to be made. But you're going to have to take, and say, well, the education, I was talking to this brother, man, the gatekeeper brother, and he goes, there's no reason to go to college. You can get as much information off the internet as you can from reading a book. I'm thinking like, N-word, please. Look, man. This is what I learned. Okay, because when I went to college at 50 years old, when Obama became president, and then graduated and then got my associates, my bachelor's, and my MBA when I was 60, I didn't need the money. I wasn't going to get a job. I was simply going because I just wanted to do something I hadn't done before, to get a degree. But what I learned throughout my matriculation, throughout the associate degree, throughout the bachelor's degree, through the MBA and all the courses I was taking, all the insight that I was getting, my worldview was expanding. My reality was expanding. I began to see opportunities that I didn't see before. And this is a reality that I'm sharing with you right now, and education is a thing. Now, I was just reading yesterday, just read the book, The Miseducation of the Negro, because my daughter, who's off at HBCU, was reading it the night before. She told me, so I went ahead and bought it and read it myself. Got a lot of good information in there, a lot of stuff that we're going through, the futility of the education that was created by white folks as it pertained to black folks. Now, understand that book was written in 1938. The situation for the opportunities for black folks were not as great in 38. I know there's some issues now, but it wasn't like issues then. What I'm saying is you can take that education in its context, recognize that as Malcolm X said, you need to know what your oppressor knows. You need to be able to speak the language of your oppressor. You need to begin to see the opportunities that your oppressor sees. You need to see the exploitation of you that your oppressor imposes upon folks like you. And this is our success. Get yourself a job. Get yourself a job to retire from. And if you're not satisfied with that, work there, be diligent, be excellent, and then find another job. Progress your way up. Progress your way up. That's what they're doing today, and that's cool too. Or find yourself, even if you have dreams of doing something else, not panning out, get yourself a job. Education first. Get yourself that job. Get paid. Your job is sustenance. Your job is not your life. And while you're raking that paycheck in, on the side, be doing the thing that you want to do. And when that side gig begins to kick off and is making more money than your regular gig, you can go ahead and transfer, promote yourself up. But in the meantime, have that steady base of income. Be making a name for yourself in Social Security. Be building the largest 401k you can, the largest IRA you can. Find some way to get an investment property. You know what I'm saying? Keep somebody living in there. In case one day you get old, you'll have somewhere to live. I'm just saying, you need to make plans for real. You say that those that fail to plan to fail for real. I want to repeat one more time. Get yourself a job that you can retire from. That is after you've been educated. And if there's no way to get educated, okay. Find a way to get educated while you're working that job. I was a mailman in the inner city the whole time I was attending college when Obama became president. I'd been with the post office 15 years. So the next 10 years, from my 15th year to my 25th year, I was in school. I missed a half a quarter of school in 10 years. I was in school that whole 10 years. You can do it. So even if you don't have an education, get yourself a job that you can retire from and go to school. Man, you go to, in our city, it's Sinclair Community College, and it's relatively cheap, and they can take the money out of your paycheck, you know, each payday, and the classes don't cost that much. Okay, so I'm just saying is, get educated, get a job to retire from, or get a job and get educated while you're there, job that you can retire from. And in the meantime, if you feel like it or the opportunity, do is the best job you can, and then apply for another job. Progress up, progress up, progress up, or just be working on a dream while you're working. Your job is simply your sustenance. While you're working and making that money, you could be working on your dream. And who knows, and hopefully that dream will come to fruition. But whatever it is, in the meantime, be investing. 401ks, IRAs, rental properties, whatever you can. Your body is an investment. Okay, here we go. I got to close because I got somewhere to go. But anyway, to me, and this is not what folks don't see this. I think I'm the only one that's ever said this, but I'm sure if I Google it, I'll find a million people that already said this as well. But to me, my body has always been my greatest asset. Because I create. Come on now, I've been working this job 30 years. I'm in very good health. I try to exercise just about every day. I try to eat right just about every day. I'm very healthy, and I've added, I think, at least 20 years to whatever would have been for my life. I could generate money 20 years longer than I would have been because I'm healthy and I'm able to do that even at 65 years old. Okay? And it's been my health and because of my health, I've been able to work and create a 401k. Because of my health, I've been able to work and create an IRA. Because of my health, I've been able to work. That money I used to buy a bank-owned property, fixed it up, and I've been renting out for $1,000 a month for the past, I don't even know, 9 years or so. So I'm just saying that, and even healthy and working my job. I met my wife. I think I was like 37 or 8 years old or so. She wouldn't have gone out with me if I didn't have a job or didn't have no money. So I'm saying I take care of myself. I've always worked. I was that guy. So now my wife and I work. She's got her own 401k, her IRA. I mean, you take care of yourself. You are the asset, and this asset that you've taken care of creates other assets. That's what I'm telling you. This is the key. But to sit around here 34 years old not working, to sit around here, you know, talking about the Illuminati and how we're the gatekeepers and all this stuff that means absolutely zero today. I mean, come on, you're not getting anywhere, you're not doing anything. What's the point? You can do great things. We can do great things. We are great people. Black pride, black excellence, black power. How's that?